welcome back to Mexico News Network, broadcasting from El Dorado Royal Spa Resort by Charisma. Now let's move along to more information. In order to facilitate consultation for students, researchers, and the general public, the INAH has created special websites for the review of historical documents. Mexico is a country with a rich history, and the Codex Chimalpajín, along with the historical works of Fernando de Alva Ixtlilxóchitl, constitute the beginning of the Mexican historiography, according to Mexico's INAH. Back in the 17th century, the Codex manuscripts were written by two of the most important historians of Indian descent from the colonial era. These were Domingo Chimalpaín and Fernando de Alva Ixtlilxóchitl. Chimalpaín described Mexico's indigenous cultures in his writings within the providential scheme of history that the Spanish brought to America. In all of his writings, he presents arguments that the Indians had already participated in the creation of the entire world according to biblical tradition. De Alva, on the other hand, wrote about the pre-Columbian history of the city of Texcoco. The historical development of indigenous communities of central Mexico is narrated in the documents comprising the Codex. It also contains the oldest known copy in Nahuatl of the chronic Mexicayotl by Fernando Alvarado Tezosomoc. The manuscripts were compiled into 3 volumes by Carlos de Sigüenza y Góngora and are considered to be the main source of historical information on everyday life, society, and Mexican politics in 16th century New Spain. The Codex Chimalpaín is available to everyone through a microsite on the internet. This was carried out to reaffirm the institution's commitment to preserving the study and dissemination of Mexican heritage and culture. From the website www.codicechimalpajín.ina.gov.mx, users can actually access this very important document on the history of Mexico. Besides the Chimalpaín Codex, the Institute has also made available to the public a digital version of the Codex Mendoza, which talks about the founding of Tenochtitlan, the largest city in the Aztec Empire, as well as the conquests of the emperors Chimalpopoca, Itzalcoatl, Axiyacatl, and Ahuitzotl. In more news, Mexico's Ministry of Tourism held a seminar on the Magic Towns program, attended by tourism heads from Bolivia, Guatemala, Ecuador, Paraguay, and Uruguay. All of this in order to export this program, which has yielded so many benefits for this industry. The Ministry of Tourism, headed by Claudia Ruiz Macieu, hosted the seminar Experience Sharing Magical Towns from August 3rd to the 7th. All of this in order to share the success of this Mexican program with countries from Central and South America aforementioned. The seminar was held with the head of tourism of Bolivia, Guatemala, Ecuador, Paraguay, and Uruguay, with the objective of exporting the program to other countries, since it has brought very important benefits to towns that have qualified in the program. Mexico currently has 103 cities that have qualified as part of the Magical Towns program, which was introduced in year 2001. This designation is granted when a town meets certain characteristics that make it magical in some way. It must have its own legends, history, important events, and certain cultural manifestations that can be exploited by the tourism sector. Towns that do qualify are very much entitled to a federal assistance for subterranean cabling, restoration of historic buildings, and the recovery of designated green areas, among more benefits. The Magic Towns program has managed to reassess Mexican culture, providing visitors, both domestic and international, with the opportunity to learn more about one of the most fascinating aspects of Mexico. This is its history, of course. According to a press release issued by the Ministry of Tourism, the head of International Affairs and Cooperation, Javier Esteban Guillermo Molina, welcomed the guests who conducted field trips to Cuetzalan, Zacatlán, and Chignahuapan in the state of Puebla in order to assess the benefits and development locations obtained after receiving this particular designation. The seminar helped promote dialogue between the representatives of the attending countries in order to exhibit, export, position, and consolidate the Ministry of Tourism's Magical Towns programs. Along with this event, a working table took place between Mexican and Guatemalan representatives where they shared their experiences and best practices in the programs and quality systems, as well as certification of both countries. In more information, simply imagine the idea of a robot highway going from Canada to Mexico. This is a bit over the top, don't you think? But you'll be very surprised and happy to know that this may not be such a crazy idea after all, and you may be much closer to it than you thought. Some weeks ago, a group of truck drivers gathered in North Dakota, where Mario Anderson, who is actually part of the Central North American Trade Corridor Association, assured that the idea of self-driving trucks transporting cargo from Canada to Mexico and going through the United States on a robot route in which there is no need of passport or visa is not such a crazy idea after all, and more of a close reality. All of this was quoted on an article published on the Globe and Mail. How will this actual route work? It's very simple. The plan is to create a new corridor for self-driven vehicles that may traverse this particular route in the near future. Route 83 runs from the north to the south, going through Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, as well as North Dakota, in order for them to traverse onto Manitoba. There are several reasons why such project gains importance, being one of the main ones the following. North Dakota produces great amounts of oil, and there is not a very efficient way to transport it to its final destination. Regardless of the quantity of trains available in the area, they have not had the space needed for such task. In addition, all of these trucks that do transport the goods unfortunately keep exploding along the way. A self-driving truck would definitely ease the pressure of such problem, and a separate road made especially to transport goods as such would also help keep all those drivers safe and sound from accidents running on Route 83. It's all definitely an idea worth looking over and into, along with supporting new technologies and see where it all may actually lead to. In more information, forget about the traditional procedures and get ready for Bitcoin. In Mexico, less than 8% of the population shop online. This normally has to do with a problem derived from existing payment methods such which in some cases are unavailable for certain sectors or simply are not deemed reliable. An immediate response to this particular issue is an innovative payment method which in just a few years could stir up the way economy works at a worldwide level. This new system is called Bitcoin, a revolutionary payment method that will allow consumers to use credit contained in an application's virtual wallet. All of this to pay for products as well as services instead of using paper money. Bitso is the company who brought Bitcoin into Mexico through Bitso Pagos, a platform that will let merchants accept this kind of payment with a 0% transaction commission. However, what's the catch behind all of this, you may wonder? At first, it all seems a bit tricky. In fact, one would think it's too risky. However, the truth is that this system could be the beginning of something really and very big. A completely fraud-free and low-cost solution that will make it easy to buy and sell in a user-to-user transaction without any intermediaries. And yes, by intermediaries, we mean financial institutions. Bitcoin uses instead different computer servers. Now here's how to use them. There are several currency exchange servers, just like Bitso, where you can buy Bitcoins in order to add them to your virtual wallet. Then, through the Bitcoin app, you can add funds, transfer them, and pay for services as well as products just by scanning your code. For more information about this payment available in Mexico today, visit vitso.com. We'll be right back with more information on Mexico and the world after these few messages. Stay with us.
Audio Jungle.